Let's get on with business of the day. This afternoon, more chaos as hundreds of customers are stranded at various branches of UT and Capital banks across Ghana. Experts are assessing their assets as the regulator, the Bank of Ghana, launched probe into operations of the two banks. UT Bank's listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange has already been revoked by the Securities and Exchange Commission following the collapse of the two banks today. Now, Ghana Commercial Bank has already taken over their operations and will be responsible for their customers. We'll take you around various regions where the situation at the UT and Capital banks have left many customers stranded. In the last few minutes, the banks have opened and customers have been checking their accounts to see if their deposits and investment are safe and intact. Ebenezer Sabute is at the headquarters of UT Bank.
Well, when the issue came up, I was in the house in the morning when I saw the information on the net. That's on the Facebook precisely. And then, my wife did open an account with them. So when I overheard the information, I was very disturbed. So I came to check how far is the situation, because she's not around. She's in Saudi Arabia. So I have her details here, as you can see, and I brought it to check. So I waited. Whilst we came, the security was tight, situations was some ways, and so they asked all the customers to come in. So I went in and then I gave them all the details, and they told me, oh, it's nothing, everything is cool. So it's just rebranding, changing of the name from UT Bank to Ghana Commercial Bank, and all necessary transactions will still continue as it was previously under the same UT.
Okay, so what exactly were you coming in to do?
Okay, for me, precisely, I came to check on my wife's fixed deposit or treasure bill that she did with them. So that's what I came to check on. If she's safe, her account is safe, but the switching of the name from GCB to, from UT to GCB, I was scared, so I came to check for her since she's not around. Okay. But all is well, and I've checked, and everything's okay.
So all her investments are intact?
Everything are intact. They even show it to me personally. They opened her account on their system, and I've seen they've opened their website, her account details, and I've seen everything. Everything's okay.
So can I confidently say you are safe, your money is safe, and you are okay to do banking now?
Oh, that is the assurance from them. Yes. So if that's what they are saying, then I've also seen.
And are you taking this assurance?
Sure, because I have seen it. They've shown it to me in their system that my wife's money is safe and everything's okay. So, and she has a relationship manager. So the relationship manager also told me to tell my wife to call her. So everything is all right.
Yes, so I'm a customer with UT, the then UT Bank, and also a journalist. So I came here for two purposes. One, to check on my account, then two, to report. I came here, I think, around 10 a.m. I've been here for quite long. And the information we had that 1 p.m. the bank was supposed to open to the public, to its customers. We waited. After 1, there were no information. It was around 5 minutes to 2 or so that I had a message from GCB that they will open the bank at 2 p.m. So I actually just went in, I did I checked on my accounts. But I interacted with the teller there. I asked whether they themselves, they knew about this development. They said no. She said no. And that they themselves, when they came and they saw the replacement of the logo, they were surprised. So if the customers, the workers of the then UT Bank didn't even know, how much more will the customers? So I don't know whether this is a clear indication of GCB Bank's incompetence, because I don't know.
What makes you think the bank is incompetent?
Yeah, because, how you couldn't even send a message to your customers. You are taking over. So you couldn't send a message to your customers. You didn't value us.
You sound disappointed.
I'm more than disappointed. If there's a word beyond disappointed, I'm disappointed. I was a GCB account holder. I applied for their ATM card for 2 years. I was rushing, chasing GCB just for ATM card. I didn't get it, so I closed my account.
So you don't like the idea that GCB is taking over UT?
For me, no. I never, and I don't think I'm staying with them for more than 2 months. Even if I have 1 Ghana cedi in my account, I will not stay with GCB Bank.
But
Very interesting episode. You run away from one bank and you end up with another bank. Then you end up with the one that you ran away from. It is a very fluid situation. And this afternoon, we can bring you the freshest reactions. We'll take you live now to the GCB Bank headquarters and also to the Ghana Stock Exchange at the City House. Odelia and George Riafe are these different locations for us. Let's hear from Odelia. Hello, Odelia.
The purchase and assumption transaction that led to the takeover of UT Bank and Capital Bank. Well, this in my hand is a press release that has been issued by GCB Bank to settle the matter. So if you will indulge me, I would like to go through each of them. It says GCB Bank, the largest indigenous bank in the country with asset base of 6.3 billion Ghana cedis. That's to settle any controversy surrounding whether GCB is able to take care of the 53 branches or not, has assumed the business of UT Bank and Capital Bank in a purchase and assumption transaction by the Bank of Ghana, effective that's today. GCB has in effect assumed the 53 branches of the two banks, thereby growing its network to 214 branches across the country. GCB brings experience, expertise, and capacity of managing a sustainable and profitable institution to the assumed businesses. Customers of UT and Capital Bank are assured of unfettered access to their funds through their known channels and staff of the assumed banks, working with GCB staff to ensure seamless transactions. Corporate and SME customers will continue to work with their relationship managers in collaboration with GCB to facilitate a smooth transaction and business continues. The existing channels of services will remain functional while they are rebranded to reflect the change in ownership. During the transaction period of up to 6 months, this arrangement will prevail while procedures and processes are consolidated and the branches assessed and streamlined. Suppliers of the two institutions will need to register with the bank's support services division for integration onto the GCB platform. Today, all our newly acquired branches of UT and Capital Bank will be opened from 1 p.m. for business and services to our new and cherished customers. Basically, so for further information, then they give other contacts. So all that GCB is saying is that all its newly acquired customers should just stay calm. If you want to go make withdrawal, all the money that you have invested in UT Bank and Capital Bank are available. What they're also saying in this press statement is that while they have such a huge asset base of 6.3 billion Ghana cedis, and therefore managing the 53 other branches that they have acquired from these two banks is not an issue. Tomorrow morning, GCB is willing to be talking to the press, but for the now, they're saying that this press statement should be enough. My name is Odelia Ntiamwa, and I'm currently based at the headquarters of GCB Bank.
Obviously, we might have to come back to you, Odelia, if there's any new development from there. Odelia, there with that information from the GCB headquarters. Let's move away from there to Abosokai, where Sheila Tamaklo has been speaking with some of the customers of both UT and Capital Bank there. Let's hear what they had to say.
We are back at the Abosokai branch of the UT Bank, and as you can see around me, there are lots of customers gathered here, still waiting to be able to transact one business or the other with the UT Bank. However, according to the customers, the officials have refused to speak to them and tell them what is going on. So they are here, but they don't know what exactly is going to happen to them or their funds or whatever transactions that they came here for. So it's 1 o'clock, but there's nothing happening here at the UT Bank branch in Abosokai.
They say 1 o'clock up to now. Nobody has come to tell us anything. So we are just waiting.
Maybe I say maybe I am say 1 o'clock and so on, but as at now, no. I think it's more. It's about 30 minutes or 40 minutes past 1. But still, it's kind of
normally they work on Saturday. When I came and there was security man told me that
bank was closed. So she told me to go and come back on Monday. So Monday somewhere I came around 8:30 and they told me to go back. I should return back 1 o'clock. So as of now, we are not seeing anything. I mean, the only problem is that if there is anything, why don't they tell us ATM alert so that we should know that this is what is going on, so that we should have prepared for what is. So what they are doing there, actually, it is affecting us a lot.
So as the story continues to unfold here at the Bosiokai branch of the UTE Bank, officials just came out to try and address some concerns of the customers who have been waiting here. Some have been here since morning, they tell me. But when the officials step out, what they told them was to wait further without stating any definite time as to when commercial activities will commence or will resume. Customers here are still worried and they are waiting for the officials to tell them what exactly is going on. And for us, we tried to speak to them, but the officials have declined any comments to the media. And we are the Accra branch of the UT Bank, and I'm joined by another customer who says he's been here since morning. You've been here since morning, and what have they told you?
Yeah, I've been here this morning, and the security man said I should come around 1 o'clock. But it's almost 2 o'clock, but they've not opened it.
Okay. So have they told you what is actually happening?
They haven't.
And are you worried because...
Yeah, I'm bored because I will be traveling tonight.
I think commercial bank is not any ordinary bank that we should be afraid of, like our money being lost. So if they are also ready to take us, why not? We will do with them.
My money there inside. I do, what do you call it? Insurance and account. Yeah. So now, I'm very, very afraid. So right now, if they open up, I will come out all my money from inside.
I'm surrounded by some customers who say they've been here for quite some time, but officials have refused to tell them what is going on. It seems there is quite some kind of air of mystery hanging, and the customers really want to know what is going on here. But we'll be waiting to see what will come out. Reporting for Joy Business from the UT Bank branch in Accra, Sheila Tamaklo.
It's a matter of stranded customers, disappointments, lack of information, anxiety, fear, even though a few have confidence in GCB, so they're not really afraid. Let's get over to the UT headquarters where Ebenezer Sabote is still standing by. We're told that between 1 o'clock and now they should have started working already. Is that happening? Mr. Sabote, feed us in on that.
Yes, Gifty. I can say bank has opened business at 10 minutes after 2 o'clock, and some customers have trooped in here to do business or transact various businesses. Many of them that have engaged so far tells me that they don't have confidence in GCB Bank, and this is the time they are going to withdraw all their monies and open new accounts. Some also say they are going to close their account because they know that they are investing with UT Bank and not GCB Bank. So if such a directive came from the Bank of Ghana and GCB Bank is taking over, they don't have trust in GCB Bank. They don't believe in their management and in their services. Therefore, they are going to close their account or withdraw all the monies and put it into different accounts at different banks.
So what accounted for that lateness? Because they were told to come in at 1 o'clock. So if they started minutes after 2, there must have been a reason for the lateness. Of course, if you're starting business with a new group of clients, you've got to give a good impression of yourself. How have the people been explaining that lateness?
Exactly the situation. When we try to push some of the staff of UT Bank, GCB Bank, formerly UT Bank, they were tightly, what they keep telling us is that they don't have any information for us, and whatever information they have, they are going to issue a press release. As we speak, as to whether they've issued a press release or not, we are yet to find out. But the reason why they've delayed so much, they can't tell us.
So who is there at the moment? Do we have officials, branded in GCB attire or anything, or officials who we can associate with GCB at the moment, or do you have workers of UT working, or is it a blend?
About an hour ago, I spotted the financial operations, the chief financial officer of GCB Bank, who passed by me, and he was excited. Let me say, I don't know his reason, and he wouldn't want to talk to me as well. So some and other staff of GCB Bank have been here earlier on to engage the new I mean, some, customers of UT Bank and the staff as well. It has been a mixed impression, mixed feelings over here, because some customers are not happy with the situation. Others too are okay with it. And as I told you earlier, some say they are going to withdraw their monies from the bank. There was one customer who showed me about 50,000 cedis that he came to withdraw, because for him, he doesn't have confidence in GCB Bank. What he knows is that he is investing with. Yes, exactly. Yes, this afternoon at the airport or a branch of GCB Bank, formerly UT Bank head office. So many of them are also coming in to withdraw their money. And as I can report, the customers here, I don't know, but it's mixed feelings over here.
Definitely it will be. But what are we expected to see happen from now until when? When do they close? What's going to happen from now?
From now, we are expecting bank to close at exactly 5:30 p.m. as normal time that banks close, even though they have not opened at the exact 8 a.m. or even the 1 p.m. that they promised customers. So what we'll be expecting is to hear from either the MD of the GCB Bank or Bank of Ghana or even UT Bank, if anybody could address us. We are still here. We are on standby 24/7 to give updates to our viewers. But as we speak now, nobody, absolutely no one, is ready to speak with us on the matter. They say we should direct all grievances to the Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana is the regulator, and they will be speaking on the matter. So that's the situation over here at the ground.
Very well. Thank you very much, Ebenezer Sabute with Joy Business there, bringing us up to speed. And he is live, coming to us live from the UT headquarters, well, now GCB. Whether or not it will be headquarters, we're not really sure at the moment, but we'll get to know as we go along. Let's cross over to the Ghana Stock Exchange, where George Weafe has been there. Hello, George.
Hi, Christian. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. And I trust that you're good as well. I'm sure you don't have any of your huge amounts stacked in any of those banks. By the way, you don't have to be afraid if you do. Tell us, this morning, we know that the Ghana Stock Exchange delisted the UT Bank. What more information do we have on that?
So that information is right. It's just an update on the fact that, yes, they are no longer going to trade on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And if you followed developments on the Ghana Stock Exchange, I think they closed somewhere around 7 pesos or so on the, I think that was last Friday. And what officials are telling us is that is it. There wouldn't be no further trading in this particular stock. But the question was raised about the fact that why has it taken the Ghana Stock Exchange so long to actually deal with UT Bank when we knew that they had not met the listing requirement of releasing their financials through to shareholders, even those who trade on the market. What the argument was that really there was some special arrangement made because they thought that the bank in question was working to address this particular issue. So it got to a stage where they thought that there wasn't any improvement, and that's why they have to do this. And also, if the Bank of Ghana has revoked their license, it means that that business that was traded on the market can no longer be there. There's a question about what happens to those who hold shares of UT Bank. And as we speak right now, they are still working out what will happen. What they also tell us will not happen is that there wouldn't be any share acquisition, if I should say, or the fact that you can take your UT shares and migrate that onto GCB shares, because that has to be that decision of GCB. And as we speak right now, GCB hasn't made that agreement to absorb the shares of UT Bank.
What are the implications, most importantly, George?
Well, some would say that they saw this coming. And if you have monitored our network, you would hear the talk about 2 banks that were on the verge of liquidation. And these 2 banks were indeed Capital Bank and UT Bank. UT Bank have had its own problems, as in loans that went bad. And for many people, it was just a matter of time, rather than the fact that they are surprised as to what has happened to UT Bank.
Okay, I'm sure that a lot more details will come up by close of day. George, thank you very much for bringing us that information from the Ghana Stock Exchange. George Weafe with that update. Well, let's go to the Western region, where Francis Waja is standing by with information from the regional capital, Takoradi. Hello, Francis.
Yeah, hi, Gifty.
In Accra and some parts of the Ashanti region, customers have been stranded. Most of them have complained about lack of information from officials of these banks. What can you report from Takoradi?
Well, in Takoradi, I'm currently standing in front of the UT Bank office, now GCB Bank. Most people at the time only heard the news via social media. And so as early as 9:30 a.m., as early as 10 a.m., there were lots of customers who had gathered in front of the UT Bank building. Apparently, they had heard the news on social media, they had heard it on the radio, and then they wanted to find out the details of it. And there's only one branch of UT Bank within the secondary Takoradi metropolis. So for customers who bank with UT Bank, most of them took here, and then for more than 3-4 hours, there was hot exchanges between all these individuals who had come here to ascertain the veracity of the news and a security man at the entrance. They engaged in these hot exchanges for a while till around 2 o'clock before the bank resumed. So for now, they've opened and then they are serving the public.
All right. We've been speaking to some people. There are those who are very unhappy, but there are those who say that, well, Bank of Ghana, the Ghana Commercial Bank as we know it, is, as some people will say, yeah, bank, they have some kind of confidence in the bank. So how are the people in Takoradi explaining this to you? Are they happy or part of those who are extremely unhappy?
Well, the reactions are mixed. There are those who plain told me that ordinarily they will not stay with GCB Bank. They were very plain about it, that they will not stay with GCB Bank. That is why they came to UT Bank. And there are those who also say the bank is in financial distress and then it's been acquired, then why not? More than 5 people I spoke to said that they are not confident about the system. I mean, they do not trust GCB Bank to deliver a good deal for them.
Some people have already started withdrawing their money. What can you report on that as well in Takoradi?
Well, initially, those I met in front of UT Bank before the bank opened to customers were very upbeat about the situation, had threatened to withdraw everything they had. But as it stands now, I have no idea as to whether they've gone ahead with that threat or not.
All right. Well, since the bank is working and people are going about their business in there, hopefully it will be good. If there's any development, we'll cross over to you, Francis Waja. Thank you very much, our correspondent in the Western region there. Well, let's head back to Accra, where the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, has been explaining the decision to axe the two banks.
This is based on the Banks and Special Deposit Institutions Act 2016. This is Act 930, which provides that undercapitalized banks be given 180 days to correct their capital position. Significantly, undercapitalized banks are requested to reach a minimum capital adequacy of 5% in 90 days and 10% in 180 days. In the case of insolvent banks and banks that are likely to become insolvent, the Bank of Ghana is mandated to revoke their licenses. So insolvent banks do not have 180 days. I think we need to make that clear. Secondly, we only have 2 insolvent banks in Ghana. This is UT Bank and Capital Bank. So this talk about the fact that they are not the only ones, it's really unfounded. These are the only insolvent banks that we have in the system, and those are the ones that we have resolved. The P&A transaction has distinct benefits. Customers will suffer no loss. The acquiring bank increases its market share, and then the productive assets are maintained. I think we should emphasize the point that no depositor will lose his or her funds, and all depositors will continue to do normal banking business with GCB Bank. Under the arrangement, GCB would acquire all deposits and some selected assets of UT Bank and Capital Bank. The premises of UT Bank and Capital Bank will be rebranded as branches of GCB Bank. and all customers can continue to do normal business at these branches. Similarly, all debtors should continue to make their loan repayments as legally scheduled. As you know, banks play a crucial role in financial intermediation for growth and development of the country. However, there are risks associated with performing this role, which should be managed effectively to avoid jeopardizing the stability of the financial sector. UT Bank and Capital Bank were requested to submit restructuring and capital restoration plans. However, the plans that were submitted by these banks were found to be unacceptable. A pro forma balance sheet of liabilities to be taken and assets to be purchased were prepared, and a pool of bidders was asked to express interest. GCB Bank was then selected among 3 others on the basis of purchase price, cost of funding, branches to be retained, staff to be employed, and the impact on the acquiring bank's capital adequacy ratio. Ladies and gentlemen, UT Bank and Capital Bank were heavily deficient in capital and liquidity, and their continuous operation could have jeopardized not only their depositors' funds, but also posed a threat to the financial system. It has therefore become necessary for us to revoke their licenses and approve this transaction to allow GCB, a large bank with the right balance sheet, to take over all the deposits and selected assets of the 2 banks. The acquisition of selected assets and deposit liabilities of UT Bank and Capital Bank is part of the efforts by GCB to further broaden its reach and grow its balance sheet to support a fast-growing economy. And this is in line with our broad objective to position the financial sector to support the government's transformational agenda.
Customers lose nothing. It's just a matter of preference. So how did these banks get into this trouble? Financial consultant Gilbert Akpabi joins me on the line for more on this. Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse. It appears I've lost him. We'll try and raise him back on the line. But you heard Dr. Ernest Addison there, head of the central bank, explaining why those 2 banks had to be removed and replaced with GCB. He basically says that there were about 3 other banks that showed interest, and the GCB was chosen because of purchase price, because they were going to employ the staff of these banks, and also because they're going to leave those branches open. So basically, UT Bank's branches and Capital Bank's branches are going to be a part of the GCB as branches. So sounded good to them, they chose them. He also speaks about the fact that there are only 2 insolvent banks, and that there are people who are saying that there may be a lot more banks that are in trouble. He says there are only 2 insolvent banks, and those are the Capital Bank and the UT Bank. We'll try and raise Dr. Mr. Akpabi on the line to get his perspective on this. What options are available for customers? What options are available for these 2 banks as well? Is there anything they can do to save themselves? We'll get some more from him in a bit.
Long overdue, because the signal has been there for some number of years. We need to build a stronger financial services sector. I believe the agenda of this government is to drive down interest rates. You cannot drive down interest rates if banks are not performing well. That is, if facilities are given, loans are given, and the loans are not paid. That feeds into the higher interest rate. So probably it's a signal to all the banks that, look, you need to start putting your house in order. Else, we'll have to find a way of restructuring you.
Some of our reporters have been in and around several, branches of these affected banks, and the atmosphere is that of panic. most customers there are saying that, the banks have been closed, the fear of losing their funds and everything. What do you have to say to this very situation?
No, if you read the circular making the rounds, they talk about the banks opening at 1 p.m. So they need to wait. They need to exercise patience. I think the approach of the central bank is good enough. They're saying that they've handed the bank over to a bigger bank, and they've said that your deposits are safe. So let's give them time. In the afternoon, probably the next day, when the new managers take over and see what they have taken over, and probably start doing business as usual. So we would say that people should remain calm. I don't think they've lost it yet. Of course, the bank is in distress or was in distress. There will be some minimal effect, but I don't think it will be major. Particularly the approach the central bank has adopted by roping in the GCB to take over. So for me, it's a good approach.
So what kind of advice do you have for the other smaller banks?
It's not even about smaller banks, the banks that are not being efficient. The advice is that, look, start doing things properly. There's a way to do banking. Work on your deposits as much as you can. If you can get cheaper deposits, fantastic. Unfortunately, you can't get cheaper deposits these days. So your deposits are expensive. So where your emphasis should be on how you lend. So if your lending process is properly done, you can do very well and survive. Also, they should be efficient. Now, their cost, that is overheads, are so high that the margins are very thin. And so if there's a default in payment of a loan, they run into trouble. Additionally, I think banks should pay attention to this drive of visibility. Everybody is crazy trying to open branches everywhere, but you need to factor in the cost of opening that branch and the revenue you are able to generate. The truth of the matter is that most of those branches are not generating any meaningful revenue. So the banking should not be in bricks and mortar. They should be thinking of how to use technology to reach their customers instead of this craze of being everywhere. Any bank that is spreading all over and hasn't got huge capital, look, we have a potential risk in that bank. So they should start doing things properly. They should start having the conversation of merging with other banks, because as a country and as an economy, my position is that we have too many banks. Yes, they should start thinking of merging. It is not good to wait for the central bank to close you down, but you can, on your own, initiate discussion with other banks and then merge with them.
Are we to foresee more takeovers in the near future?
Well, that's up to the central bank. What I can say from where I sit independently is that we do not have a very solid financial sector as of today. And so I believe the central bank will still have to do a lot more work to find a way of consolidating the banking sector. So I cannot tell you whether there will be more takeovers, but there's still work to be done.
Finally, can we also say that this is not going to affect the integrity of Ghana's banking sector?
No, I think the approach is good. The approach is good. The challenge is how to support the banks to recover the bad performing loans. Of course, UT and this other bank, but I've given some facilities that are now coming back. Other banks may see themselves in those positions. How do we work with them to recover those facilities? That is where the issue is.